Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. My name is Karen Bodenschatz. I serve as Associate Pastor at First Lutheran Church in Onalaska, Wisconsin, and this is my morning musing. So last week, I shared with all of you that I had a milestone birthday that I was celebrating. And one of the byproducts of such a moment in my life has been a lot of reflection and gratitude. Actually, lots and lots of gratitude. I've also shared with you that the pandemic has brought depression into my life, personally into my psyche. And the last 6 months has been about learning how to manage that with the help of medication and a bevy of folk made up of a therapist, a couple of coaches, and an amazing group of friends. I mention this because recently I was listening to a series of podcasts by my friend Brene Brown. She's not my friend, she's just someone I really love. And she always stimulates my thinking. And she mentioned several times, and she does this in a lot of her work, that gratitude is a practice. But she was also talking very frankly about how during the pandemic that practice has lapsed. So I've been thinking about these things quite a bit for the last few weeks. Not only gratitude as a practice, but that practice gets harder, seems unimportant even when your days are spent with the same people, pretty much doing the same thing every day. And yet, with so many things uncertain throughout the past year and a half, it seems to me that a practice of gratitude is one tool we should be using more of, not less of. It's hard, though, to spend time thinking about what you're grateful for when you are overwhelmed with everything the world has been throwing at us, even in this last week. So I've been thinking again about a gratitude practice and how it is something that I really need to start again regularly. I think it's a strong tool in my arsenal to help manage my depression and to help me hear and see the Holy Spirit working in my life as I ponder what I want post-pandemic life to look like if we ever get to post-pandemic life. But here's the important thing to remember and why I think I've been pushing back on this a little bit. A gratitude practice does not mean ignoring the hard things, the impossible decisions, the anxiety, the sadness, the struggles, the anger, all of those things. So often in our culture, the pursuit of happiness, which is often masked as gratitude or being blessed, becomes the ignoring anything that isn't that, or an attempt to then make everything into something good. Sometimes things are just bad. Trying to make it into good or to be focusing on happiness is not what gratitude is about. Gratitude is about remembering that without dark, there cannot be light, and without sadness, there cannot be joy. Gratitude is reminding ourselves in the midst of those times of the things that ground us, the things that make this life worth living, even in the midst of living in a time that is so ungrounding. Untethered is another word I've often used these last 18 months. This is why I appreciate and will be recommitting myself to the practice of daily examine. You've probably heard me talk about it before. We've practiced it as a church before. But in case you missed all of that, the daily examine is a simple practice to be done at the end of each day. And you ask yourself 2 questions. What gave you life that day? And what drained you that day? And these 2 questions are bracketed by moments of stillness. Before asking yourself these questions, you light a candle and you breathe deeply and you center your mind and your heart in Jesus. And then after you ask yourself those questions and then answer them in your journal, it's really important to write these things down. You again return to stillness and you pray about the things that came up. And then you listen to the Spirit of God. Once you're done, blow out the candle and go to bed. The whole process takes about 15 minutes, sometimes longer, but it doesn't have to. This isn't an hour and a half of prayer where you fall asleep in the middle. But what this does for me and for many is ground me and then surrounds me with God's love and the power of the Holy Spirit that lives within me. It helps me process each day in a meaningful way. And bonus, I sleep much better. So I go on vacation next week, and like Pastor Stanton's vacation, it's a longer one than I typically take. But I thought this would be a really good time to start the daily examine, because I want to review each day with joy. And then I'll continue that practice when I come home. I'm going to encourage you to also create a gratitude practice in your life. Maybe it's the daily examine. Maybe it's writing down 5 things each 5 things each day that you are grateful for. Maybe it's sharing highs and lows with family or friends each night. But whatever it is, I hope you find a way to practice gratitude, which is an amazing tool in our bucket to live faithfully and thoughtfully. Be well, dear friends. Really, really be well. Be kind. Christ is with you.